a lot of people are more qualified to help other people than they even realize. You know, if you've been able to overcome big challenges in your life, whether it's in your health, your fitness, your finances, your relationships, you're qualified to help other people.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, I've overcome a lot, and simple and plain, man, I put in the fucking work, you know, and you know, I'm in a position to help guide people in the right direction, and I firmly believe that starts with the fundamentals and the foundation of self-mastery.
Welcome to Loudr, the podcast that amplifies your voice. I'm Sean P., your host, and here we believe in giving everyone a platform to get louder. Whether it's your professional journey or personal stories, we encourage our guests to speak up on topics they couldn't voice before. Join us as we make waves, elevate conversations, and empower you to be heard. Let's get louder together. Anthony, what's your last name?
Anthony Bradley, that's my name.
Anthony Bradley.
Yeah, two first names.
Yeah. I actually, you know what? I said that to my wife when I met you. I told her, I'm like, yeah, dude with two first names. I don't know if I've ever met someone I didn't like that had two first names. Then to come to find out that your birthday is a day off from mine, so you're an Aquarius.
I've never met an Aquarius I don't get along with.
For sure, dude.
I tried to date an Aquarius once, and that wasn't a good combination.
Yeah, I don't know how that would sit. What's do you know what sign your chick is now?
Yeah, she's a Virgo.
So what month is that?
September. She's September 15th.
Got it.
But yeah, it's crazy. Every serious relationship I've been in is a different sign, you know? And, dude, by far, Virgos are the best, man.
On all levels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
How'd you guys meet?
A dating app.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Recently or semi-recently?
A couple years ago, I had come out of a 4-year relationship, and I knew I had never really put myself out there in the dating scene. Like, I had always just kind of hopped to the next thing that came.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, dude? Like, I'm in a better spot physically, mentally, financially. Like, I'm going to date, like, with the intention of dating and not, like, trying to find somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I find somebody, like, cool, but... So yeah, I put myself out there, man. I traveled a couple years. I went to Philippines. I went to Vietnam. I went to Colombia. Like, I was just out there, and I was swiping everywhere I went. And it was a really good experience, man. Like, I met some amazing women, and it really helped me kind of understand more of like what exactly I was looking for.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of had a good idea of what I was looking for, but yeah, dude. When I met this girl. When we first met, we went out to eat at the Pho Kim Long. It's like, you know, the famous spot out here off of in Chinatown over there. And
Chinatown's got so many bomb spots to eat at, bro.
Yeah, Pho Kim Long's been there forever. So yeah, we went there and we kind of talked, and then I trained her in person. And I'm be honest, I wasn't really feeling her at first, but I think I just wasn't ready to, like, I wasn't done, like, you know. I wasn't ready to settle at that point. Like, I was still kind of like fresh in the putting myself out there. But we followed each other for about a year, and her stories just always like caught me. Like, oh man, this girl, she's doing great things. Like, she's into fitness. She has a real estate license. She come from Colombia, you know, out here to the States, didn't even know English about 6 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So it took her 6 tries to pass her real estate exam. But when I saw that and I saw her post that, I was like, oh my God, this girl, she's persistent. You know what I mean?
Said,
like,
she like made mention of how many times it took for her to pass it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, man. A lot of people wouldn't put that out there because you know, it associates with like, oh, you know, you didn't pass the test, but obviously there's a language barrier there in trying to understand everything, right? And that test alone in itself, a lot of it's memorization. So if she's trying to memorize an entire new country in the way that things are done and then pigeonhole like a certain career, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I need to know?
Yeah.
So good for her, man.
I saw that as a woman who is very persistent and doesn't give up easily. And I was like, I fell in love with that, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was like, I want to get to know you more. And she's like, really? Like what changed from a year ago, you know, till now? And I was like, hey, like, just give me a chance. And like,
Does she have kids?
No. which is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know for sure I don't want that. My son's 17, about to be 18. My one and only. I've raised him, and I knew that I didn't want to date a girl with a kid.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not looking for that at where I'm at in my journey.
Yeah, that's a really tough chapter depending on where you get the kids. There's so many things and components that go into that. So if you're not ready or you don't want that, it sounds like you had plenty of time to evaluate that. I'm sure you had your experiences, right, with women that did.
I did.
So
I did.
To know that you don't want that eliminates, at our age, we're 40 now, right? It eliminates a great population of women, and even good women at that, because you can still meet a good woman that has kids that may not even be a problem that you're inheriting. It could be a good thing, but they might have a fucked up scenario with the dad or with the, something that's even out of their control, but you're like, I just don't want this in my life, respectfully, right? And then the flip side to that is if they don't have kids at our age, you're on level 17, bro.
Yeah.
Are you trying to go back to level 0?
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you don't want to rob any females of what they want to have and to have children as well. So then to meet a younger female who may not have, you're a successful person. You know what you want. You've lived life, right? So
for sure,
to be that set in knowing what you want and being able to relay that over to a female, or but to relay that over to a female and have her respect that, like, hey, it has nothing to do with you. It's not personal. I just don't want any children. If they're younger, and then they sacrifice because they love you at the moment, then 4 years down the line, maybe they're bitter or, they want kids. It then wipes out another level of female, because if they want kids, you don't want to take that away from them.
Yeah. And dude, we've actually had this discussion plenty of times. I'm not totally against having another kid, just not right now. At 39, the good thing with us as guys, right, we can, start over at 45. My girl's 30, so, we have time to decide if that's what we want to do. And so I'm not totally against it. Like, raising my son has been the greatest thing ever. But just right now, like, the fact that my son is turning 18 and, we're both super focused, like, on what we're doing, like with our goals, our schedule, we're like dialed in, so we don't want that to change anytime soon. And, we have plans to travel and just build our finances, build wealth, build our property portfolios. Right.
Yeah. So with that, what do you do?
Yeah. So, I'm an online coach and mentor. I started in the online space as being a health and fitness and life coach, and that's kind of transpired and opened new doors to where I found myself in the business coaching realm side of things. So yeah, I still do a lot of life coaching, even with the current students that I have, and it's pretty wild because you're like, if you tell people you're a life coach, they're like, well, what does a life coach do? Like, what is that, right? In a sense,
like what certifies you, or what gives you that title,
exactly. Right? Yeah. Well, we live in the digital era and we live in the age of information. And I think a lot of people are more qualified to help other people than they even realize, if you've been able to overcome big challenges in your life, whether it's in your health, your fitness, your finances, your relationships, you're qualified to help other people.
Wow.
So, I've overcome a lot, and simple and plain, man, I put in the fucking work, and, I'm in a position to help guide people in the right direction. And I firmly believe that starts with the fundamentals and the foundation of self-mastery, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, and taking that structure and that discipline with your temple, your body, your health, your mind, and then rolling that into every other area of your life, your relationships, your business, and so forth.
That's so powerful, man. Luis and I were just talking about this, bro. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to segue into all of this because it's just wild. The fact that, like, we met, you're here, like the connection, just the universe, God, relationships, how everything happens is so amazing.
Absolutely.
And it kind of transcends into where Luis and I left off and we were talking about how not everything is a big deal. Being able to really like be at peace and be comfortable living through the shit.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't mean that you have to be okay being mediocre or being an asshole. It doesn't mean that you can't be successful and a good person. We all have shit. We all have to live through the shit. We all have our own, you know, mental battles that we deal with daily. You know,
Yeah,
even
dude.
I'm sure in your space with what you do, people are looking to grow. You're pouring out.
That's my tagline there. Let's
pouring
let's
in?
grow. Let's grow, right? You know.
So if you're pouring out into everybody, who's pouring into you? You know, because that's, you know, you've got to stay charged as well.
Yeah.
You know, and so viewing yourself as a coach and a life coach is, you know, that's a big title. That's a big responsibility, you know, and this stage, what we were talking about with my journey in podcasting and being out there on social, sharing what I went through, I feel like I've just thrown out all the bad stuff. And now my page is filled with negativity. But all this negativity is real life stuff that are happening, not just to men, but to people going through that chapter in their life, right? So I'm exposing it. I dug up everything that I went through and I threw it out there.
Struggle builds character, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be able to turn that struggle in the negative into positive, man. You know, it's a famous line from Biggie Smalls, right? Went from negative to positive, and it's all good.
Yeah, for sure. And it's hard because within that process, you really have to become very aware of, like you said, your temple, being okay with yourself. And I think a lot of people, I had Satem Gali on here. You may have seen him in the gym as well. He's the super big Polynesian dude who looks like The Rock.
Yep. I've talked to him a couple times and told him, "Hey, you look like The Rock." And I'm like, I'm sure a lot of other people have told you that.
He just
can't
owns
be
it
the
at
first
this
time
point.
that you got that. You know?
But he was. We were talking about how people are searching for happiness, right? And in success, you know, people are looking at, you know, you just got your new ride. Congratulations, dude. I'm sure there's a shit ton of hard work and sacrifice and years into getting that, right? But now people see it and they're like, you know, this dude's flossing, or you know what I mean? Like he's trying to be loud. Well, maybe you are trying to be loud because you're like, yeah, motherfucker, I built this, dude. I've been working on this, you know, so I'm happy that I have this, but it didn't start, you didn't go out and buy that. You started with yourself.
Absolutely.
You started
100%.
with the most important thing, like you said, your temple. And it sounds like that's what you're helping people recognize and understand. Like, bro, it's not anything you could buy. It's not someone that you could talk to. They could pay you. They could pay whoever the fuck they want to be a coach. But if you can't understand that the struggle and the difficult times that you've been through, if you can't get rid of the victim mentality and change that into like an opportunity to grow, where do you go from there? You know, I'm sure you have to talk to people and be like, you know what, I might not be a good fit for you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything I do is custom, man. That's why I do an application and a one-on-one phone call, because I'm way too busy to waste my time for somebody that's not even in a position or has the means to invest in themselves, period. You know what I mean? So, and then also too, there is qualifications that I require for somebody to even work with me, you know. There has to be passion. There has to be purpose behind what they do. If it's just for the money, they're never going to last. You know, money comes when you have purpose and you're passionate about what you're doing and you're adding value to people's lives. You're never going to stop getting money. You know, but if you're just doing it for the money, you're never going to last.
Bro, I'm getting chills, dude, because this journey, as I was explaining, has been a wild one for me, and I'm to the point now, dude, where you know I have my main focus, which is building my private lending company, you know? And so I love that. I've been in real estate and in this space for many, many years. And this has always been my end goal, where I've wanted to go. I wanted to own this shit. Right. But as I have gone through different chapters within my career in this, there's been several roads where I never felt fulfilled. You know, like, what is my purpose? Like, cool, I'm really good at this. Hooray. You know what I mean? Like, gold star for me. but I'm still feeling empty, man, you know? And at a young age, because I got into the game super young, I had access to money that most young guys don't have, or most young people don't have access to. And so I wasn't very responsible with it. And I thought, you know, I was chasing the wrong things, right?
Yeah.
And then I had kids, and then chapter. All these chapters happen. They're like piling on my back, and it's all getting heavier. And that's what led me to Loudr and to doing this, is because I went through what I did with my kids, and I'm like, you know what? This is my purpose.
Yeah.
I need to do this. And since I've done it, I've felt fulfilled. I've felt what I was looking for, you know? But now I'm at a point, bro, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Luis and I were just talking.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I really add value to be? And I'm asking you, dude, like, how do I add value to people now? Because yes, it's my purpose, and I so badly want to share that with the world. But just like you said, my time is valuable, and so many people are assholes. They just want to hear what they want to hear. They want to waste your time. And we don't have time for that shit, you know? So how do I transcend and build a brand, build my purpose without taking away from what's actually fulfilling me and helping people? Because now, because I'm charging, should I feel less than, you know? Or even assuming the responsibility of like coaching somebody is heavy. Like you have people's emotions, their lives, like in your hands, and you have to handle that with care and passion and love.
Yeah.
You know? So what do I do, bro? Like, how do we bottle this up in like,
that's
here you go, dude. $9.99, you know?
That's a really good question. So it's funny you asked that, dude, because, you know, I was thinking about you in our conversation, and that's why I texted you yesterday, and I was like, dude, I have an idea for you, you know, like, but I don't know enough about you to know that this is even a direction that you want to go. But based off of the conversation that we had, you know, have you ever thought about building out a high ticket coaching program that adds value to people's lives?
Never.
Yeah. I think everybody.
It's just come to my mind here recently.
Yeah. I think everybody should have their own high ticket coaching program and have their own personal brand. I mean, that's the era that we're living in, you know? So
we were just talking about that as well.
Yeah. You know, Gary Vee's been talking about this for years in his book that he released way back called Crushing It, right? And, you know, using social media to build your personal brand and being on every social media outlet that you can be on. So I think, you know, you're kind of already in the space in a sense, right? Like, we know that we all need to go that way, but like, how do we truly add value and monetize off of that, right? And I think we have to look at like, you know, what we have expertise in, right? And, you know, I know for you, like the first 5 minutes we talked, you told me like how long you've been doing private money lending and how you help people do flips. And I was like, dude, I actually know a guy right now in a mentorship program that I'm in that he has a high ticket coaching program. He started selling it at like 5 to 6K a program, but now he's getting 10K a pop for it. And what he does is he actually he finds people who want to get into flips, but they don't know how. And his program is built around helping them do their first 1 to 3 flips, right? So my thought for you was like, dude, one, when it comes to building a coaching program, you know, you need brand presence, brand professionalism, and you need client acquisition systems in place. Well, that's what I do for my students. I'm just niche down in fitness nutrition, but this can work for any coach consultant. So, you know, at the end of the day, putting together you know, a program where, you know, you can take somebody that wants to get into flipping or get into the real estate game. And, you know, these are people we would target who have capital to invest and have the credit and have the means, right? But maybe they just don't know where to start. I'm one of those people, dude. Like, I want to get into that space. I have no idea where to start. If I was going to get into that space, I'd want to hire a coach and mentor that would hold my hand and guide me and walk me through the process and show me how to get my first flip, right? Or my first 3 flips to actually be profitable. And then, you know, now that I've paid for that information and knowledge, I can take that and continue on with it. So the guarantee is solid. The offer is solid because you can actually guarantee me that I'm going to make my 10K back for investing with you within my first 1 to 3 flips. But then I still have all the systems and processes in place to continue making that money, right? So that offer right there, that's $100 million offer, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know if how well that correlates with like your purpose and what you're doing, but that's just what had came to my mind. I know we kind of talked about, a few other things and some struggles and hard things that you went through with, your previous marriage and fighting for your kids and stuff like that. So, that's just kind of like, after we were talking, I was like, man, like this dude has something on his hands, that I think most people don't have, dude. You're an expert in your field when it comes to private money lending and looking at deals and understanding if they're profitable or not.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. One of the main things that would be probably the biggest value that I can add for somebody looking or getting into that space is the amount of deals that I look at, not from just on a daily basis, but from the beginning to the end. And I actually, believe it or not, I get kickback a lot when I'm talking with people about deals because they have their own idea of what they think it is. And a lot of times I'm talking with people that, of course they're looking to make a profit, right? So they're looking at comps and stuff that have closed within that area, and everybody wants to go off of the highest one, right? Well, that's not always the best thing to do. You can look at an average, right, and break it down. And if you're going to play with your money, sometimes it's better to go off of like an average rather than just the one-off.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, there's that one-off.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of kickback from people who even just wholesale properties or real estate agents are the biggest kickback because they want to tell me what it's going to be worth. And then I'm telling them, how I'm looking at the deal. And when I'm looking at deals, I'm looking at what I know for a fact that I've lent on that similar house within 3 miles, and I've seen the budget that person put into that house. I know exactly how much money they put into it. I know exactly how much money they bought it for. I know exactly how much money they sold it for, and I know how much exactly they made on that deal.
Sure.
And so you want to come and you want to talk to me about this deal and tell me that I'm wrong. Like, okay, bro, like I don't need to be right. This isn't about being right for me. I'm just telling you, dude, like how many deals I've seen like that and where people, they just want to argue with me. I'm just like, all right, bro, dude, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, how many other, I'm sure there's other people that have that type of knowledge, but it's far and few in between, man. You know what I mean?
What I've noticed in this space is most people don't want to volunteer information. And that's really different from me is I don't give a shit, man. The access to information is so easy.
Well, I mean, providing the free value is crucial for generating the right type of leads, especially online, So if you are giving out tons of free value, that makes sense when you have a back-end high-ticket offer to be able to monetize, right? And, I mean, at the end of the day, dude, like, look, the goal is to make an income while making an impact, right?
Yeah.
So, for me, even one of the main reasons why I switched more to the business coaching side of things is because, I've helped over 500 people transform their life and their health through my fitness, nutrition, and life coaching. And it was very fulfilling. It still is. I'm passionate about it. However, now I'm helping other dads just like me, other people, create multiple 6-figure income online. That's truly like life-changing on top of your health, bro. Right? So, I mean, dude, that's what you have the power to do. And, a lot of people don't realize that like when you're in the digital space and social media and the world is your oyster, it really becomes a numbers game. And with paid ads, we have the opportunity to put tons of opportunities, qualified opportunities on your calendar on a weekly basis. So, all you need to do is 10 sales in a month at 10K to hit a 100K month, a 6-figure month. Dude, we've been conditioned our whole lives to go to school, to go to college, to make a modest 60 to 100K a year.
Thank you for sharing this. Yes.
Keep
going. Yeah, for sure. And it's all false, man.
Right. Like it's the school system is completely outdated because we're living in the times now where we have AI, bro, ChatGPT, social media. Like nothing is as it was when we were growing up and our parents were growing up. So how can we expect modern like textbooks and curriculum to keep up with what's going on when it's really unfolding right before our eyes?
Right.
So how do we stay in tune to what's going on? Well, you can't go take a class that teaches you how to hit $100,000 a month in your business while adding real world value.
Right.
So where do you learn that information? Mentorship, coaching programs.
Yeah.
If you are the top 5 people you surround yourself by, where do you meet like-minded individuals who are investing in their self and trying to grow the same way you are? Mentorship programs, coaching programs, right? Like, so yeah, dude, there's tons of value to, be able to
the way that
be in that space.
Yeah, the way that Luis had actually broke it down, we were talking about it as well, is, and I want you to talk on this topic as well. I want you to share your perspective and what what you deal with your clients. Because for me specifically, like now that I'm hitting this chapter, I'm thinking to myself like, well, I'm just getting my shit together. I'm not a millionaire yet.
Yeah.
I'm not, how am I classified to be a coach and to tell these men what they need to do and this and that? And the way that Luis had said it is, I'm looking up here, right? I'm not even on this level yet, right? And I'm worried about impacting and being influential to people over here on this level in which I'm not. These are the people that I still need to be learning from, right? I need to be soaking in and being mentored by these people. The people that I am not necessarily qualified, but the people that I can confidently help and where I should be focusing rather than looking this way are the people right here that I've been through that chapter.
Sure.
I've done that. I am qualified to help somebody on it, just like with what you're talking about, So how distracted do you see people get in, they want to make an impact and maybe they set their sights so super high that they miss what's right here, right now, right in front of them, and they don't take advantage of the opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the huge benefits of having a mentor and having accountability. I mean, I can't tell you how many times my current mentor has been like, bro, what are you doing? You're getting off track, dude. Just stay here and stay doing what you're doing and watch. And I'm like, okay, I listen and I'm like, holy shit, he's completely right. Dude, it's levels to it. Like, comparison is the thief of joy, right? Yeah. So we can't compare ourselves our day 1 to somebody's year 1 or year 4.
And
right?
we all do.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, dude, like day 1 or one day. So if you know that, you want to grow and you want to reach new levels and new heights that you're capable of, you just got to start.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, you are at that level that you thought that you dreamt of or that you envisioned years prior. I remember when I first got introduced to the high ticket coaching space, I was like, oh my God, man, I'll just be so happy when I'm making 10K a month. I hit my first 10K month back in 2020 and it was short lived. Right after that, I wanted 20, I wanted 50. Right. And, I was like, well, where does it stop? And the thing is once you start making good money consistently, it quickly makes you realize what's important, and that is the relationships and the journey and who you become in the process,
I love that. So true, dude.
Yeah, dude. But once you're on the rise and once you kind of have it figured out, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when, man. You just got to keep putting in the work and keep moving forward, day by day. One of my favorite quotes, sayings is if you're going to eat an elephant, how are you going to do that? Right.
Yeah.
And the answer is one bite at a time. Yeah. And, that boils back down to this. We launched a mindset coaching call inside our Elite Health Trainer University coaching program yesterday. It was ran by me, and being dialed the fuck in on your routine and your schedule is so important, because when you realize how much time we actually have, and you realize all the things you want to do, we don't really have that much time.
Explain that. You explained that to me the other morning,
Yeah.
and I had never heard it said that way. You know what I'm talking about, right? The chapters of ages, and right? Do you remember saying that when you had just got off?
So comes straight from Robert Kiyosaki. He's one of my my favorite authors. I've listened to all his books. He's literally changed my mindset when it comes to finances and financial education. And he talks about there being 4 quarters in your money game. You know, quarter 1 is age 25 to 35. Quarter 2 is age 35 to 45. 45 is halftime, right? And then 45 to 55, of course, and then 55 to 65. So, yeah, you know, most people, when they reach their upper 30s, early 40s, they're like, oh, I'm getting old, you know, and they're already getting comfortable and they're just content with their life and their job and where they're at. And they're just getting fatter and weaker and they're not investing in themselves and they're not growing and studying. And dude, like when you stop learning, you start dying, right?
Yeah.
But really, most games are won in the second half, you know? So right now it's like prime time, especially for men. It talks about this in you know, really famous classic books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. For men, 40s and 50s are our best years if you do it right, you know? Those are the years of wisdom. Those are the years of like, you know, you should already know like what you want to do and where you're going.
The difference between right and wrong.
Yeah,
You
you know,
kind of have that figured out. Yeah.
So yeah, just dialing the fuck in on being very intentional and looking at your top priorities. So this is a pillar in my Health is Wealth life coaching program. I call it my personalized dream life system. And this has really changed my life. This is something I created and came up with through having different health and fitness coaches that I felt like something was missing. And so I was like, you know what? What's missing is what I want to put in my program to put my own twist and even make it better than the coaches that I've paid a lot of money for, right? So what it is on the very first onboarding call, we'll sit down and we will, I'll build a custom schedule with them on a Google Excel sheet, right? A Google spreadsheet, and we'll take their top 5 priorities. So one is their money making or this business building activities. 2 is their family social time. We live for that, right? 3, of course, their nutrition, their fitness. We need to map that out because we want to plan for success. Their personal development. So we're continuing to learn and grow. And then their free time / me time. We need that for our mental health, you know? Yeah. So when you break it down, and there could be a couple other categories in there, but like Tony Robbins actually talks about this in one of his books. It's like, you know, there's only 6 to 7 categories that truly matter in life. And I just named 5 of them, right? Everything else is just fluff. It's just a distraction. It's just bullshit. Yeah. Like when you dial in on those right there, you have time to enjoy your life, but also you're taking one bite of that elephant every day. Like, dude, we're trying to conquer the world. We're trying to fucking have it all. You know what I mean? We're trying to be the providers and protectors for our family, the leaders for our children, our wife, you know? So how do you lock in and dial in on that, dude? Like it takes having the right strategy. Once you have the right strategy in place and you're getting small wins of all the areas of your life that matter the most to you, at that point, it's just about the consistency, you know? And it's not like army style, like you're never going to be completely perfect every week, every day. Yeah. But dude, I have perfect weeks and perfect months, you know? And my routine has become a lifestyle. It's not even a schedule no more. It's just the way I live my life. Yeah. You know?
When I was going through some really difficult times, that was probably that's probably something I could have used the most, dude. Just what you said right there. And it seems so basic, right? To tell a grown man like, bro, get a schedule.
You know what's crazy?
But it's not that basic, dude.
It's crazy that we're talking about this, man. I really believe everything happens for a reason. But I had a student who just came into our program about a month ago, and I think he kind of resonated with something I said in the mindset coaching call yesterday. So he reached out to me this morning and said, hey, man, do you have a few minutes to chat? And I said, absolutely, I'm free right now. I'll hop on a quick call with you. I try to do that whenever people reach out to me, just be available to my students if my schedule allows. And I hopped on with him, and he's like, yeah, man, like, you know, I'm going through this divorce with my wife, and he has a little girl, and he's just like, man, you know, I'm just, you know, this might not be like what you do in this program, but like, you know, I think I just really value your opinion. Like, what do I do, man? You know? And I said, man, I literally gave him the same answer I gave you. I said, this sounds so simple. It sounds easier than done, but you need to lock the fuck in, bro. You invested in this program. You know building your business is important. How many hours a day are you dedicating to that? You know your nutrition and your health is important. Like, you're a fucking coach, bro, a fitness and health coach. Like, you need to lock in on that. And then, of course, your time with your daughter is important, right? So, when you lock in on those three things, dude, time's going to go by one way or another, but at least you're doing everything you're supposed to do, and you're handling the most important shit. And he was like, man, bro, thank you so much. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I'm glad I could help, man. Like,
yeah, dude, that's powerful, man. Going through that brought me back for sure, because that's when, so my parents got divorced when I was in 5th grade, and my dad's an addict still, right? And that was the path that he chose, right? We can all choose him, whatever one we want.
Yeah.
Whatever is going to, like you just said, every day goes by one way or another, right? And how we choose to pass that time is 100% your decision.
Yeah.
And when I was going through everything I did, I wasn't into fitness as I am now, right? And what brought me to it, it had very little to do with how I wanted to look. It had a lot to do with how I wanted to feel. You know? And
Huge.
I ended up competing, dude. Yeah.
Nice.
I ended up setting out, I'm like, you know what? Where am I going to go with this? I'm just competitive like that, bro. Everything that I do,
Competitive nature,
bringing it back down to what we're talking about now at this stage of my podcast and being, vulnerable and present on social. Now I'm circling back going, okay, how do I be better? How do I add more value? How can I be the best for other people and myself, right? And so at that time, I'm like, you know what? I need to set a goal for myself, because I need something to focus on. I can't live in this bullshit, this person coming at me. Like, no matter what, this person's coming at me every single day. I just came to that conclusion. I'm like, no matter what I do, whether I go drink 10 beers or whether I go work out, this person's going to come at me no matter what.
Right.
How am I going to handle it really dictates on, am I drinking 10 beers or am I working out? There's a lot of times where I'd be stressed the fuck out, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
Would go to the gym and be like, I don't even know how I'm going to breathe tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to get to tomorrow, but I'm going to get this workout in. Not because I wanted to have a 6-pack at that time.
Yeah.
Right? I just wanted to handle my issues in a healthy, constructive way for myself. I realized that going out and doing other things was just so non-productive and toxic, and really the opposite of how I knew that I was going to get out of this chapter.
Sure.
How I was at the end of that chapter was what I was trying to control for myself. So that was my focus. So
yeah, dude, what I've found, even with myself, and this is something that I've had to snap out of a few times, sometimes life can get so overwhelming. And what happens when we get overwhelmed is we usually tend to shut down,
I do.
And we'll just go lay down, or, we just put things off, we procrastinate. But really that's the time when we need to stay like super focused and disciplined and have our strategy and our priorities in line, because, dude, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we need that rest. Sometimes we need to lay down and feel those emotions and whatnot, but we can't stay down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, having that, the discipline that it takes to have that gym routine. Again, I kind of started our conversation with this, right? It feeds into every other area of your life. Like, you don't only go to the gym when you feel like going to the gym, you need to go do the hard shit when you don't feel like doing it. And then your life becomes easy,
Yeah.
So when we're feeling overwhelmed and we want to shut down and we're going through all those things, that's when we have to, do the hard shit. And growth and comfort do not coincide. So the only way to grow is to learn to be,
to live in the shit.
comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's wild, man.
Well, I'm so I honestly, like, I can't even put into words like how in the last like 3 weeks I've been manifesting and talking about certain things and how different connections have come to fruition. So I'm glad we met, bro. I look forward to learning more about what you're doing, because I genuinely believe in what you're doing and that I see the value in it. And I could definitely, for myself, like as I've gone into this journey of being on social media and present and sharing my experience, I think if I had to circle back and share with somebody that was new going into this, there's two components, right? You're going to need to pay for social media and a team to, whether it's edit your videos, keep you on track, whatever it is.
Sure.
But then you're going to also need a coach. You're going to need somebody that is going to be able to help keep your mental state moving forward, because it's so easy to get bogged down and to shut down when you have all these ideas and you have, people reaching out to you, like taking some of your energy, and it's draining,
Yeah.
And so I would encourage people to look at it as two things that need to come together.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
so please share with everybody where they can find you. If there's anything more that you want to share about with what you do and, what's important, go for it.
Yeah, no, you just said something that kind of, made me think about something. And, ultimately, one of the most powerful things about having a coach and mentor and somebody that's actually already done what you're trying to do is, it saves you from making some of the same mistakes, right? And I see a lot of people want to get into the online space. They focus on content and trying to go viral and selling low ticket products, or maybe not even having any way to monetize. And it's just doing it the wrong way, man. Like, everybody needs to start with having some type of high ticket program. But before you can even do that, before you can start adding value to other people's lives, you have to have first been able to add value to your own life, right? But you're already there, man. And a lot of people are. But, I would just say for anybody that's out there listening who wants to get into this space, don't make the mistake of doing all the wrong things. Like, you don't need an LLC. You don't need a website. You don't need business cards. What you need is sales. You need to have something that you can monetize from, because if you have a higher ticket program, all it takes is having 1 or 2 sales. Now you're already helping people, and you could take some of that money and reinvest that into growing, your content or your editing or whatever it is that you're doing. So there's just the right way and wrong way to do things, and if you want to truly like scale a business and do it the right way, you have to have that mentorship and that coach who can, streamline the process for you and save you tons of wasted time and money trying to figure it out on your own.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, but I'm mainly on Instagram. You could find me on Instagram at I am Anthony Bradley. That's where, I spend the most of my time. I am on some other social media platforms, but that's the best place to find me. So.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on, bro. It's been a pleasure, And so go look up Anthony. Reach out to him if you have questions, if you want to learn more about the high ticket space and just coaching in general. I feel like you have a lot of nuggets and value that you could probably drop to people that may get them just moving. You got to go.
Yeah.
Just fucking go. Mess up, stumble, trip, fall, do it all. But no matter what, you've got to do that. And so if you're looking for that opportunity, reach out to Anthony, hit him up. Ask whatever questions you can, and thank you so much, man. You've got a ton of value to add to people. I appreciate you,
man.
bro.
I really appreciate you having me. You have a very nice setup, very nice office here, man. So, I'm looking forward to seeing you continue to grow, man. Like you're doing amazing things. So I'm glad I could be a part of this special experience here today, man.
Cool. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man. That wraps up another empowering episode of Loudr with Sean P. I want to express my gratitude for joining the conversation. Remember, your voice matters, and together we're creating a symphony of impactful stories. If you enjoyed today's episode, I want to hear from you. Please subscribe, share, leave a review, and let's continue making some noise. Until next time, stay empowered and stay loud.